Which presidential candidate out there right now is best for the crypto community?
I think in general, any kind of change in posture at the major market regulators would be beneficial, whether that comes due to retirement or a new administration coming into office. I think it sort of remains to be seen. I think even in the case that the current administration stays, we're likely to see some changes that are beneficial. You've got bipartisan support in Congress for changes in the way regulators have approached this industry. But there's no doubt that Republican allies in the House and in the Senate are more favorable to digital assets.
So essentially you're saying anyone who's there, apart from who's there right now, would be an improvement?
I mean, look,
is that what I'm hearing?
I think it could improve in any case, but
okay.
the prior Republican administration was more amenable, and I think now you've seen, whether it's from candidates for the Republican nomination, independent candidates, there's a swath of candidates across the sort of whole ecosystem, even Democratic challenger, that are more favorable to digital assets than the current administration.
Alex, how do you think about how this all impacts kind of projects moving forward? If we're thinking about all the uncertainty in the industry, you're saying Bitcoin is kind of exempt right now from a lot of that uncertainty. Does that just create more money flowing into Bitcoin? And what is the case for that? I mean, you've seen kind of Bitcoin level off here and really limit itself in terms of how much more interest can be drawn in the wake of the advent of the ETF and in the wake of the halving. What's the next catalyst? And is Bitcoin being suppressed at these levels kind of a cap on how big the industry could grow?
Pointed question. I appreciate it very much. I think that we've had such an extreme rise. I mean, Bitcoin's up over 280% since January 23. It's up over 50% this year. It's reasonable for any asset that has risen that much to cool off a bit. Frankly, I mean, it's almost humorous because I was on the show over a year ago, and we were talking when Bitcoin was about $22,000 about the prospects. Obviously, a lot can change for Bitcoin. From Catalyst standpoint, you have these advisor platforms and wealth management platforms that really haven't turned on selling Bitcoin ETFs on an unsolicited basis yet. When we predicted in October that there would be 13 or 14 billion in net inflows into these ETFs, that was solely relying on those wealth management platforms and advisors. And instead, we've seen about that much come in pretty much through brokerage trading platforms. So I think you'll see a lot more interest. Obviously, the macro situation is part of that. I think if obviously with rates and if we see some easing on the monetary side, risk assets in general will benefit. I think broadly to the first part of your question, I think, you know, when you think of what Bitcoin developers and the ecosystem are working on now, it's getting much more interesting on layer 2s, on DeFi. I think that could drive more interest in the sort of Bitcoin investment case beyond simply Bitcoin as digital gold or a scarce, you know, non-sovereign monetary asset. But I think that core case remains very strong. I would say it is stifling, to the prior guest's point, some builders and investment in the U.S. That being said, in Q1, I think over $2.5 billion was invested by venture capitalists into 600 plus crypto-related deals. The vast majority, I should say the vast plurality of both deals and dollars invested in companies founded and headquartered in the United States. So the U.S. is still the leader. Policymakers just need to be wary that they don't stifle what could be major innovation for the future.